Join me right now is a man that is set to return to the cage on March 20th at Eternal MMA 58 against Dimps Gillies. Brentin Mumford, thank you so much, man, for the time. How you living?
Yeah, good man, good. It's good to almost be done fight camp. Uh, Man, last year, the end of 2019, I tore my pec muscle off the bone, so I had to get that reattached, and then I got back to 100% fitness, 100% health. Then COVID hit. Done fight camp, no shows. Then I started another fight camp. Show got cancelled. Started the third one. They shut the border down between where I live and the state above us. So then, yeah, I had fight camps all last year. I started off down helping Alex Volkanovski for his rematch with Holloway. And then I just continued training on from there. And then all the shows just kept getting shut down and the borders getting closed. So it was a nightmare. So I'm glad that this year it all kind of smoothed out and finally get to get back in there. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, there's a lot to unpack right there, man. Like, you've been through so much. Let's talk about the injury that you had. You had surgery for it. Take us through that. You know what I mean? Like, was that during the fight against Dave Martinez?
Nah, so I had the fight against Martinez, which obviously didn't go my way. Well, it was going my way for 99.9999% of the fight until I made a mistake, and then he capitalized, so, you know, albeit to him. And then I was preparing to fight again. I think I was preparing to fight. It was October 17 of 2019 against Paul Franchi. I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name. I think it's Paul Franchi, and which I was really keen for because obviously I like striking. He's called the brawler, I'm pretty sure. So I was like, fuck, get me in on that. So when they made that matchup, I was stoked for that, and it was probably like 2 weeks out from the fight, and I was just doing just grappling rounds, and I kind of come up from half guard into a single leg, and the guy just jumped for a far armbar, and the armbar didn't really come on that tight. I felt like a pop noise, and I was like, oh, that was weird, and it didn't really hurt or anything. It was just a little bit painful. It didn't hurt, and then it was 10 minutes later. I was like, oh, that's getting a little bit more tender. By the time I had a shower, I couldn't even lift my arm up. I was like, oh, shit, I better get this checked. And most people say, like, there should be bruising or the pec muscle itself should ball up or, you know, you should be able to see it. None of that happened for me. It was just pain. And so then obviously you couldn't get scans done for a few days till the swelling went down. When I finally got the scans done, they said, oh, yeah, it's torn, but it just looks like a partial tear. But because obviously I still want to compete, they said, look, you need to, because you're young, I'm not that young, but younger, I need to go get some, get surgery done, get what needed to be, what tore off to be reattached. And then, so I got that done. And after the surgery, the surgeon said, you know, like it was a lot worse once they went in, that a part of the pec muscle actually got caught up under the delt and started to heal to the delt. So the muscle started to fuse together. So they cut that away, and yeah, they drill holes in the bone. They pull it through and tie it all back off and stitch it off and whatnot. So it's a fairly decent recovery. So I was like, well, that could be it. That could be the end of me if I can't get back in time. I'm not going to call it the retirement. Or I'm not going to hang them up. I'm just going to do the recovery and see what happens. I didn't want to mentally say I was retired because I thought if I did that, and then like the recovery, they said you wouldn't get back to full strength for like 12 months. You wouldn't grapple for 12 months. I was like, oh, that's shit. But I said, oh, no, I've been told that before with little injuries. Like they say with your knee, you're not going to be able to wrestle for 6 months. And I've wrestled within 3 months and I've never had a problem. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go to the physio, got a good physio, and we just pumped through rehab. And then I think I was out of the sling in like 8 weeks. So they say there should be 12 weeks. And I did all the testing, and I was out of the sling in 8. I was lifting, and then we did the strength testing. And after, I think it was like 5 months, I only had there was only like about a 15% difference in strength. So like, fuck, I'm way ahead of schedule. Might as well sign myself back up again, you know what I mean? And had a chat to a few guys, and then that's when we made and I was like, yeah, we're going to do it again. We're going to make the decision. And that was October. I had the surgery. And then by the time I was down helping Volko prepare for that rematch was when I was back. I'd just kind of been training for about a month before that, and it was back to pretty good. I could grapple, I could wrestle. I just had to be a bit wary of arm bars and, you know, like getting that arm a bit extended from my body. So just played it safe with that. But yeah, so then I got back into it from there and was pretty well good to go. And then once I did the camp with Volko, that gave me lit that fire back up there when I had that thought of like, you know, should I keep doing it? We got down there and all the boys from all over New South Wales all come together to help him because obviously the borders were shut. He couldn't go to New Zealand. And then just sparring and training and that whole environment was like, fuck, I can't give it up. Like, it's too much. What else am I going to do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just lit that fire back inside of me. And then that's what and then every camp since then is it's just like adding more sticks, more fuel to the fire every single time, you know? So I'm super pumped this one, like fittest, because I've had so many camps. You know, this would be the fittest, probably the lightest I've been coming into a fight. Like obviously working with Geordie, the fight dietitian, I've worked with him for years, but I think over the time of working with him, we've really got it sorted together now. And like I'm walking around like 3 kilos lighter than what I ever had before, and my strength is higher, my fitness is way higher, like leaps and bounds above what it's ever been before. So that's it. And every day I go into the gym, I was more and more pumped to get back in there and you know, get some work in.
A lot was on the line, man, with that injury, with that recovery. It seemed like the recovery happening faster and just your body physically, you're just better than a normal person, right? Like normal person wouldn't recover that quick.
Yeah, well, see, that's what people have said. But then I've had, you know, it's not been, for me, I've found like I've had, I think like 19 fights or something like that now, I think it is. And I've been booked for a lot more than that and have done a lot more camps than that. And it just seems to be like, it's not from, I don't know if it's from being just immature about training and lack of knowledge, not listening to my body, where I'll be like, oh, you know, my back's a bit sore today, or, you know, my knee's a bit sore, suck it up and go to training. I think this, like with my pec, I think that was an eye opener for me to go, you know, if there's something niggling, deal with that and miss a session or two, and then in your longevity, well, thank you for it, you know what I mean? Like, it's not gonna, 1 or 2 sessions is nothing compared to 6 months, which is what I found, you know. So I've probably focused on that a lot more. I said I could have had a lot more fights, and it's not been the lack of training or lack of wanting to fight. I've just had these little niggles, like getting my knees. My knees have not been too bad, but I just have to get my meniscus cleaned up all the time. So I think I've had 4 clean-outs of my knees, which is not from, you know, I do all the right rehab stuff for them. Maybe I just got, you know, the knee surgeon said, look, you just got, you know, genetically they're not good knees. You know, I'm gonna see you again and again before your time is up. I was like, oh well, might as well just suck it up, you know.
Definitely. Well, you know, you got to return and be involved with a championship camp with Volko, and that must have been mentally, it must have been great for you, because coming off the injury and you return to that environment, you know what I mean, of such a big fight. What was that like for you, you know, being with those group of guys and them pushing you coming off that injury?
Yes, as I said before, that was I 100% think, like, I believe that going and doing that might have been like, I was on the fence, and that might have been that pivotal change, or, you know, that I needed to say, wait a minute, I'm not done with this. Had I not gone down and done that, and I had stayed home, maybe I would have went, you know what, it's just time that I just said, I just hang them up and say, you know what, let's focus on coaching or doing other, you know, because I'm passionate about coaching and helping other guys, but maybe just focus on that. But then when I was down there, you know, like, as I said, lit that fire, that environment, and I was like, oh, I can't give it up, you know. And, like, you know, them and the other guys too. A big thing for me was, I guess, I remember a podcast I think it was on Joe Rogan. It was Brendan Schaub talking about if you're ever on the fence or unsure about whether you should stop, then you should stop because your heart's not in it. I often think of that, but then, you know, like maybe that's his opinion of it, but I always revert back to that quote. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, because I was on the fence, and now had I have hung him up, I think that I would have spent for the rest of my life regretting having hung him up, and I would have been going off of his quote. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that I didn't go that way, and I went down there. You know, I helped them push the pace, and training with those other guys that are already in the UFC. I guess when you're, you know, I'm from a small city. I don't have any guys in the UFC here and that. So when I do my camps, that's how I met Alex, was training to go into Thailand and then meeting him and like Brad Riddell, people like that. That's it. And then going to New Zealand and training with him at CKB and things like that. So being with that group of guys helping Alex and coming off an injury and still being able to mix it up with him and still push the pace, that was it boosted my ego, I guess, you know, to go, and my confidence to be like, wait a minute, you can't be done with it. You know, it'd be different if I went back there and I was constantly the nail. It's getting hammered all day. That wasn't the case by any means. And that kind of gave me the confidence and that boost to be like, no, wait a minute, fuck it. You're not going to hang them up. You got to go. You got to get back in there and do it again. And as I said, I'm thankful I did, because I'm still unsure. Like, if I didn't do that, what I'd be doing now. Yeah. You know, wouldn't be having this conversation, that's for sure, about a fight coming up. I don't know what I'll be doing. Yeah, you know, probably slugging it away or working at my gym, or probably trying to find a 9 to 5 and just be your normal Joe Blow. You know what I mean? Which would fucking suck.
Well, you know, it all worked out, man. You know, you go through all of this to get opportunities, and you got a huge opportunity coming up. #1 lightweight contender bout. You know, thoughts on that opportunity to earn another shot at the title?
Yeah, well, I think I've been like #1 contender a few times. Like I've fought against Callum Potter before he went to the UFC. Unfortunately lost that one, you know what I mean? And then I fought against Martinez, and then unfortunately fell short on that too. So I've always just kind of fall short, and I think, and even in both those fights, I watched them back and I spoke to my team, and, you know, like spoke to my mates, like I speak to like Brad Riddell and Volko, and they watch it and they say the same things. Like, it was just a matter of, it was a small mistake which cost, you know, it was a small mistake which had a massive effect on the result. You know, like against Callum Potter and against Martinez was two almost identical mistakes, which is my stupidity of not fixing. You know, I was too impatient to keep it on the feet instead of letting it take its course and just defending on the fence. Especially against Martinez, I was having so much success. I'm not sure if you watched that fight or not, but I was having so much success on the feet. Like, I think my strike rate was like 100% for almost 4 minutes. I don't even think I took it. I don't think I took a shot. I think I landed 100% of mine, and, you know, that was probably his game plan too. You know, I don't know. And then I made a silly mistake on the fence when he went for a takedown, because I was having so much success on the feet. I was too excited to get back into the center of the cage and keep getting work in, where I should have just rode the round out on the fence and went, oh well, this is his game. Let's just take it to the second round and go again. But I was so excited and I was having so much fun, you know, landing at will pretty much, that I was like, fuck it, let's get back in the middle and I'll just keep throwing heat kind of thing. And then, yeah, and I said it cost me. And I feel like those two fights are very pivotal in my career, because as you start to string some wins together, you know, no one even really looks at, I don't find that they look at who you fought, and they just want to see that green square next to your name. And it doesn't really matter if they're who they are or whatever. So I think those ones, being that they were good matchups, but I needed that green square next to my name to keep moving up the ranks. So, but that's where we're back there. We're building. I've got some, you know, spoke to my manager and that. We've got a little game plan in place for the future, and, you know, starts on March 20, and then we're gonna just bricks on top of bricks kind of thing until we get to that next step.
Dimps Gillies, your upcoming opponent, a completely different fighter from your last opponent, Martinez. Breaking his style down, what do you see?
I know he's had some boxing fights. You know, he likes to throw heavy hands. He comes forward lots. I'm guessing if he's smart, he would have watched some of my fights and see that you know, like I'm on the outside and I can counter. So if he wants to throw heat, you know, I guess he's gonna have to make sure that lands, because otherwise, if he misses, there's gonna be stuff coming. You know, there's gonna be something coming back at him just as hard, just more calculated. You know. As for watching his fights and seeing, like as I said, he just throws heavy, loves to get in there and brawl kind of thing. So which is fine by me. Not my style by any stretch. I'm not going in there. I don't plan on going in there and taking heaps of punishment. So I don't mind going in there and giving it out, and you know, hit and not get hit is the key, right? So we'll see what he brings. All of his fights are very similar. So unless he's gone somewhere and done something that I know nothing about, I think I know what he's bringing to the table. So, you know, but I've had a year off of working on some. You know, I was sidelined to some degree. I was sidelined to, you know, so I wasn't working at 100% capacity, but I was still in the gym. I was still traveling. I was still training. I was still working on things that I needed to work on, and as I was going through rehab stuff. So spent a lot of time coaching too, which I found has dramatically improved the way I view fighting, the technique wise, game plan wise, things like that. So I think, you know, he's probably going to think it's going to be the same version, but you know, it won't be the same version that he's watched.
When I look at this fight on paper and see like how the matchmakers put this together, I kind of understand why they did that. You know what I mean? I understand what you bring and I understand what he brings, and it's just fireworks in a way. It's like, do you feel like this fight is kind of tailor-made stylistically?
Yeah. Well, we both go out and try and knock people out. The only, if you were to go through my losses and see, if you were to go through it, you'd see the losses and how they come about. If you were to go through and watch each of those fights up until the losses, or it's not like it was always excitement up until the end. You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm never going to be that person that's going to go out there and take someone down and lay on them. You know, I'm not. You know, if I have to draw in wrestling, I will, but it's never to go in and lay on someone. You know, like for example, I took Greg Atzori down, and then I was on top for all of about 30 seconds and let him up, and then I wheel kicked him and knocked him out. So I'm not looking to go in there and lay and pray. So, and neither's he. So when they put that match together, I'm guessing that's exactly what they've seen and what we both see too. Like when I couldn't get opponents, I think he wanted an opponent, or I couldn't get an opponent or something last year, but it was a bit short notice. I think he might have had a boxing fight or something maybe. I was happy to do it then. But now, even having this, like, we knew this fight was happening since December or November last year. We both agreed on. We already agreed on it ages ago before they released it. So I've had plenty of time to come up with what I'm going to do, and so is he. So, you know, he might have a different game plan too. But I think either way, it's not good. You're not going to have to worry about two people going in there and laying on top of each other. Yeah. I think, you know, what I'll say about the matchmaking, I think, and with the fight itself, I think that we both know, me and Dimps know, that there's going to be it's going to be one of two ways, you know. It's going to be short and sweet, and someone's going to land something real fucking hard and it's going to shut the lights off on someone. Or that's not going to happen in the first round, and then it's just going to be a war for three. You know, I don't think there's any chance that it's going to be a boring fight, because he's coming in, he walks forward to knock people out, and I go backwards and counter to knock people out. So that's stylistically, it makes so much sense that it's going to be an awesome fight. So yeah, so hopefully a lot of people tune in and it is an awesome fight, and it does win lose for either of us, that it picks up our marketability, or, you know, it helps us move up. You know what I mean? So
definitely, you know, it's gonna be fight of the night. And how do you see it? How do you see yourself beating Dimps?
I think, I truly believe that. I think it'll just be a war. I think it's going to be a war because I've watched him land his strikes on everyone else and he lands his shots. I just don't think that even though he walks forward, I just don't think that with my range that he's going to be able to land those shots on me. He's got to come through so much to get so close. I just don't think he's going to be able to land those heavy shots. So I think it'll have to be dirty, you know, to get inside. So I don't know. I'm sure he's got a new gym now. So, you know, maybe they've watched it and they've come up with a better game plan to, you know, to combat mine and my style. But I guess, you know, once you've had it's hard you to know yourself being, you know, that watching fights. It even doesn't matter how much someone changes or they try different things. After as many fights as me and him have had, you can add things, but nothing real. There's no dramatic changes in someone's style. You know that this is their strong points. You know that's what they're going to do. They might add some little weapons to their arsenal, but it's not going to be. You're not going to come out there. He's not going to, you know, like he's not going to all of a sudden. He's done 6 months of wrestling in the States, and he's going to come out there and try and Ben Askren me. You know what I mean? Like, so it's, you know, you got nothing to worry about. So yeah. I honestly think that it would be, as I said, it'll be one of two ways. It's going to be one of us is going to land a real good shot because to touch each other, it's going to have to be, you know, come together hard because he's going to be coming forward and I'm going to be countering. So the other way is, or it's going to be go through to a decision and then we'll see what happens from there.
One more thing before I let you go. Later that night in the main event, Josh Togo will defend his title against Dan Hill, and most likely whoever wins between you and Dimps will face the winner. How do you see that fight playing out between Togo and Hill? Do you see Togo defending the title successfully?
Yeah, I've trained with Josh. Actually quite good friends with Josh. So me and you we've spoken about this in the past since he got the belt. And we've spoken, yeah. So I don't know if I don't know if we'll have to talk to Cam about that one. I don't know. It is a sport, so I guess sometimes, you know, you got to fight your friends. But I don't know about that one. But I think that I believe that he will beat Dan Hill. I actually copped a lot of. I commentated for the Eternal last year. I can't remember which one it was, and I actually copped a lot of flack from the team for my commentary because apparently I was favouring the opposition over their teammates. I don't believe I was. I was just, when you're commentating, you just call it as you see it. It is what it is. But yeah, so then now I copped a bit of flack from that. So I think a lot of their guys are probably gunning for me as well. Which, hey, fuck, bring it on, whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, I'm gunning for Josh. He's a mate. I think it's going to be. I honestly think it'll be a similar scenario. After watching, I commentated Dan Hill's fight against Martinez, and I think that he's going to try and do what everyone else has done to Josh and failed. Everyone else has done. They've tried to come forward and they want to take him down, and they've not been able to. So unless the guys are integrated have come up with a way of getting inside on Josh and actually getting him on his back. But hey, I trained with him and I tried to hold him down too. So good luck to him. So I think, but I do think Josh will come away with the belt, and I think that I believe that I've got too much experience, too much skills for Dimps to bring anything that I haven't seen before. So I think, I'm confident that I've got what it takes to beat him, whichever way that goes. And I don't know about the question about the number one contender. They put that. I'll let you on a secret. They put that post up, and I seen the post once it was up. No one ever come to me or anything about that post, and I don't think anyone's ever gone to Josh about it either. So we will have to, once this fight night's over and we both win, we'll have to talk to Cam and see how him and Ben come up with that matchup without talking to either of us first. So it is what it is. Hey, as I said, it's a sport. We punched each other in the head at training and we just have to do it with smaller gloves.
No doubt, man. Well, I'm excited for this matchup, man. I feel like on paper, this is the fight. For the whole weekend, this is the fight that if you're going to tune in, you got to tune into this one. This is Fireworks, March 20th, Eternal MMA 58, Gold Coast. Everybody can watch it on UFC Fight Pass. Brentin, thank you so much for the time, man. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to this one, you know, in particular.
Make sure if, you know, people are watching this and that, if they are on the Gold Coast or, you know, Brisbane, Northern New South Wales, if they, you know, they want to get tickets, make sure they get tickets soon because they are selling out fast. Obviously, COVID, all that shit. Let's get tickets fast. And obviously, if you come to support myself, make sure when you get the tickets, you put my last name in at checkout, you know, because we got to get paid too so we can keep these training camps going. So, you know, give us some money.